Yo, what's up guys? Sam here. Today, the September event we've been waiting to hear about has been confirmed. No more sleepless nights for you or me now, because Tuesday, September 10th is the date. At 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are going to get a glimpse at new iPhones, new Apple Watches, and likely a new 16-inch MacBook Pro as well. I want to tell you guys the latest details and how you can watch the event for yourself. If you're excited for that, drop a like down below. You guys know it helps me out, helps support the channel, and hit subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any of the Apple videos. I'm going to be going crazy in the next couple of months. First up, if you're like me and you didn't get an invite to the actual event in Cupertino, California, then you can go on Apple's website. I'll leave a link down below. They are going to live stream the event. This year, they've actually confirmed the live stream already, so if you guys are interested in watching, it is confirmed 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday, September 10th. So I will see you guys there on the interwebs, as none of us are going to be there in person. Now let's actually take a closer look at the invite here, because every once in a while, Apple will actually reveal something meaningful. I mean, sometimes it's very subtle, like last year for the iPhone XS event, they had the Apple Park logo, but everything was in gold, signifying that gold would be returning to the new 2018 iPhones, which were the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max. Go back a lot farther to 2012 with the iPhone 5 event, Apple was much less hinting. They were telling us, yes, this is going to be called the iPhone 5, as in the text of the date, there was the 5. I still remember that one as being one of the coolest, like, I see what you did there. I think this year is somewhere in between. So obviously this is an iPhone event that is going to be the primary focus for Apple here, alongside a couple of other products like new Apple Watches and a new MacBook Pro, with the possibility of maybe a new Apple TV or new AirPods, and most likely maybe some new iPads sprinkled in here too, but really it's just gonna be those three. And when we look at the invite, it's sort of this cool broken up Jello-like, not really stacked together properly Apple logo that just seems to be sort of a play or a take on the original rainbow Apple logo. It's very cool to look at, but I think it actually does reveal all the colors for the iPhone XR successor. So we had these three colors last year for the iPhone XR, but this year, take a look at this leaked photo courtesy of very well respected and pretty much perfect track record reporter Mark Gurman of Bloomberg. Shared these two colors would be coming to the iPhone XR successor, and when you look at the top and the bottom of the Apple logo on the invite, well, look, green and lavender. So green and purple, I would say, are definitely confirmed for the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone this year. This could be a coincidence, but the fact that these are the two new colors rumored to be coming to a new iPhone this year, and then Apple just happened to put them on the top and on the bottom of the Apple logo, I feel like that's confirmation that these are the colors for the new colorful iPhone this year. Interesting though that Apple's focusing on that rather than the new triple camera setup iPhone 11 and 11 Max or iPhone Pro. It's still sort of a weird naming scheme. We don't know exactly what to call it. So Apple is going to release a new dual camera setup 6.1-inch LCD screen iPhone that is a successor to the iPhone XR. It's going to have a slightly larger battery, but not to the same extent as the higher end iPhone models this year. And overall, I think it's going to be a nice upgrade, but not nearly as big as an upgrade as obviously the more expensive models, because Apple is going to be using the Pro naming scheme this year. So when you buy a new iPhone from Apple that costs over $1,000, you get some extra bonuses. First up, an OLED display. You've got 5.8 or 6.5 inches to choose from. The bezels, the notch. The front of the phones, unfortunately, is going to look the same when everybody else in the game has shrunken the notch and made the phone look a little bit different. Innovated, one could argue. Apple is sort of just doing the same thing in a slightly different way this year. We're going to start to notice changes, big changes on the higher end iPhone models this year are on the back. Yes, the square camera bump is not only coming to the lower end iPhone this year, Apple's placing this bad bump, this bad bump on the higher end iPhone. Here you're going to have one standard angle lens like we've always had, and then they're going to have the telephoto lens that we've had for the past few years, and to complete the trifecta, a new super or ultra wide angle lens that through software will be able to like crop people initially out of the frame back into photos. It's called Smart Frame, and it could be pretty cool if it works as rumored. And it's not just new lenses though. I think the megapixel count is going to increase slightly. The resolution of photos is going to increase slightly. Low light is going to improve. Video is going to get significantly better. So if you take a lot of photos or videos on your iPhone, this could be the year to upgrade, because obviously when you look at the phone, that's really gonna be the only aesthetical difference. The more expensive models this year are gonna get some other bells and whistles though, like the ability to charge AirPods on the back. You'll just be able to set AirPods on the back of your phone, and if you have the wireless charging case, they will begin charging. charging. You're also going to get much better waterproofing in the higher end models. Battery life is also going up on the highest end iPhone models this year. If you have the 5.8-inch OLED model, the iPhone regular sized Pro, that's going to increase by up to 25% off of an initial figure that we heard from Apple analyst Min-Chi Kuo. And for the Max version, the 6.5-inch OLED iPhone Pro or iPhone 11 Pro this year, we're looking at between, I think, 5 and 15%. So either way, battery life is going to see a noticeable improvement, which I think the iPhone desperately needs. When I feel like competitors have been offering really, really great battery life for years, where the iPhone has always just been enough or okay. Apple's working on some bells and whistles here to make them better, to make them more attractive. But the question is, if we're on year 2 of 3 of the super cycle, what's coming next? And I'll tell you guys now, what's coming next year is a completely redesigned phone, a hugely upgraded display, a hugely upgraded camera. It almost feels like this is just another placeholder year for the iPhone, and for all intents and purposes, it probably is. So while the iPhone upgrades this year are pretty concrete per usual, where things get really murky is with a new Apple Watch. So we still don't know even now if we're talking about new Series 4 models, like updated versions of what we got in 2018, or new Series 5 models are in the works, because we saw a big leak that titanium and a ceramic model would be coming to the iPhone. So ceramic would be returning. It was on older models. Apple initially skipped it for the Series 4. It would be coming back in 2019. But titanium we've never seen. And only recently with the Apple Card has really anybody seen Apple's fascination with titanium. Now, up until just recently, I don't even know if I've ever touched titanium before, but I got my Apple Card, and I will tell you guys this, it is very premium feeling. Now, I don't know how Apple gets away with giving these out to customers for free. I mean, this feels like a decently substantial amount of metal. I mean, just hear that. That's something you don't get at the dollar store. I think Apple's gonna do something to differentiate this year's models than last year's models, whether it's Apple Watch Series 4.5 or the new Apple Watch Series 4 or Series 5. It's gonna be something to get people to put a little money out of their pockets and maybe swipe those Apple cards and get 3% cash back on Apple products. There's still about 2 weeks until the event, so a lot can change between now and then, and we may see leaked photos of not only the new iPhone Pro models, but also the Apple Watch Series 5. Until then, though, we're still going to be guessing. The only other minor upgrades we've heard about the Apple Watch Series 5 is that the side button could get upgraded to solid state, meaning that it wouldn't physically move when pressed. It would be like the home button on an iPhone, where there's haptic feedback whenever you press to make it feel like the button's moving, even though it's not. It'd make it less likely to break. It would make the watch more water resistant, and this is a stretch, but we've heard that the iPhone is getting some huge water resistance upgrades, so maybe for the Series 5, that's a big one too. Now, there is one other rumor for the Apple Watch Series 5 that no one else has reported on, and I want to treat with some heavy and healthy skepticism, but over on Twitter, somebody who leaks stuff from time to time, hit or miss sporadically, Mr. White has said that the Apple Watch Series 5 could support blood pressure measurement. That would be pretty dope to have that built in, and it would make sense and completely go in line with what Apple's been doing with the watch. First, it was positioned as like a fashion accessory, and more so each and every single year, they're trying to position it as a health accessory, something that you need to, look good and feel good and be good, I guess. So they added the cool ECG monitoring that would tell you if you were an AFib or an unhealthy or unnatural heart rhythm. So Apple is doing this. They are adding new health features every year, and I would not be surprised if in 2019 we got blood pressure monitoring built into the new Apple Watch. Again, though, this is unconfirmed. No one else has said this, and I don't know exactly how to feel about it overall, but it would not be the craziest idea. Completing the trifecta of new Apple products expected at this event as far as hardware goes is a new 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is something we initially heard not much about, and now recently everyone has come out and said Apple is working on a new 16-inch MacBook Pro, including Bloomberg, Mark Gurman there, who has an insanely good track record. So this new 16-inch MacBook Pro is going to be similar in size to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. However, the bezels on the screen are going to be significantly reduced to fit a larger display in there, and I'm really looking forward to something that looks like this. We've seen some amazing concept images. These are courtesy of Victor Kadar, and if it doesn't look like this, I feel like a lot of us are going to be disappointed, but we do know that this is going to be similar to the Mac Pro. It's going to be really expensive. We've heard upwards of $3,000 already, and that's just a rumor, which is a little bit scary to hear. We know that it is going to have a new keyboard. It's going to get rid of the butterfly horrid design that everyone seems to agree on hating equally. It's going to go back to the scissor reliable mechanism, and it is going to have a ton of power. And I'm hoping it's going to have really good battery life as well, just because I have not been impressed with MacBook battery life in like 5 or 6 years. This is not going to be for your average consumer going off to college or somebody in high school who's just getting into video or photography or coding or anything that requires a lot of computational power. This is going to be somebody who actually does this work a lot and is going to make that $3,000+ price tag worth it for them. And remember, $3,000 would be the starting MacBook Pro, not like the top of the line. Because guess what's also launching in 2019? Apple TV Plus, Apple's new subscription service to compete with Netflix and Disney Plus and everybody else who's just decided to go out and get out of the mom's basement and start making a streaming service, and Apple Arcade. So this is going to be a $5 a month streaming service. Apple TV Plus said to be about $10 a month at $9.99 a month. So I guarantee Apple's going to talk about these because they have really positioned themselves as a company more focused on streaming services lately rather than just new hardware. So not going to be super exciting, but with these launching very shortly, likely alongside iOS 13, that's what I would expect for Apple to talk about either at the very beginning or at the very end of this event. We're also going to be getting the release dates for iOS 13, macOS 10.15, watchOS 6, and tvOS, I think 13 as well. That's your look at Apple's September event. We've got about 2-ish weeks until then, so I'm sure we're going to hear more details. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any Apple news, and drop a like if you enjoyed this video or learned something new. That's all I have for you today. The hype train full into effect now. I've been Sam. I'm going to turn on my computer before I close this video, and I will talk to all of you in my next one.